In this video, we will talk about multiple inheritance. Suppose that we want to add the ability to draw various objects from our simulation. Some types of objects don't make any sense to draw, like ant. If we want to have a draw method that we can call on all applicable objects in a loop, we can't declare it an animal or actor because then ant would get it too. Instead, we need to have a common ancestor drawable that applies to only some of our classes. So we see here in this diagram that rabbit inherits from animal and also inherits from drawable, whereas ant inherits from animal but does not inherit from drawable. So ants are not drawable and do not get drawn. Multiple inheritance is what we call it when a class directly inherits from multiple ancestors. This can get complex, and so every language has its own rules for how to do multiple inheritance. For example, how do you resolve competing definitions when two base classes define the same method differently? So in Java, they forbid multiple inheritance for classes. You can't inherit from multiple distinct base classes in Java. You can't extend multiple distinct base classes, but you can do inheritance from interfaces, which, as we'll see in a bit in the video on interfaces, is called implementing interface. And this is allowed on interfaces in Java because interfaces don't contain implementation. So there is no competition between different implementations, and thus no ambiguity. So for example, in our simulation, what we can do is make actor an interface so that all of the classes will inherit from actor and implement the things in actor, but still have drawable as their only actual base class for the ones that are drawable. So here's what an interface looks like. Public interface actor, and then it lists two methods. Now, just like with an abstract class, these methods do not have definitions. They're just signatures as well as descriptions of what it is that the method is supposed to do in the comments. So the first method that all actors will have is the method act, which returns void and accepts a list of actors called new actors. And that does whatever it is act does. It's supposed to perform the actor's regular behavior according to the comments. And then there's a second method called isActive that takes no parameters and returns a Boolean, and this tells us if the actor is still active. So then when a class implements actor, it must provide an implementation for act and isActive, much like if it was inheriting from an abstract class, except that abstract classes can contain some implementation and interfaces cannot contain any implementation. So then, multiple inheritance means a class has more than one base class that it inherits directly from. For example, a multifunction copier office machine is a copier and is a printer and is a fax machine. And as we mentioned, inheriting from multiple implementations is complex. For example, what if there are different implementations for the same method signature? Which one does the subclass get and why? Therefore, Java only allows multiple inheritance using interfaces which do not contain implementations. So a Java class can extend one base class directly and implement many interfaces.